So I'm on vacation, which means I'm not ever really on vacation, and I'm having a beer, and I think the question I should ask on vacation is, show me your junk? These guys said okay. Stand by. Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is James. I'm at Rattlecan Guitar Restorations, and I am with Never Reborn, which is Tucson's premier three-piece dark metal band, group, collective.
D, all of the above.
All of the above.
We're talking show me your junk, we call it a unit.
A dark metal unit. Yes. Send all your comments to Steve. Anyways, I got Steve, I got Trek, and I got Zack. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk gear. We're going to see what they're playing. We're going to see how they like it. What do they like? What do they not like? And where do they want to go from there? So if you want to talk about gear, this is the place to be. So let's go talk to them. So anyways, we're enjoying Trek beer, which is actually pretty damn good. Dark metal. You had the great answer before. Can you explain it to us who are perhaps not educated in the nuances of metal verbiage?
I will try.
Thank you.
So, dark metal is a subgenre of all metal, and it's a combination, which we are, of black metal, but we're not black. It's death metal, and it's thrash metal, but we're not death metal, we're not thrash metal, we're all of those, but none of those at the same time. And it's a unique mix that is now becoming more well known in the metal community.
So there you go. Because I'm an old fart, and back in my day, it was either pop or you were rock. So
You were a rocker, or thrasher. They had the thrashers back in the 80s too.
that's true. Well, that was, who was that? That would have been Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Here is the great question. Now, I may have front-loaded this with one member, but I'll give it to the other two.
Uh-oh.
Complete this sentence. If you like blank band, you'll love Never Reborn. You get to go.
It was when I first heard their music and I wanted to come in and audition for them. I'm like, these guys sound like death. And I like hearing death. One of my favorite death metal bands. I was like, I got to be a part of this.
Okay.
Well, we get a lot of, if you like Creator, or that German thrash metal band sound, Creator, Sodom, like that, and even the Canadian bands like Sacrifice and Infernal Majesty. We're an old 80s band. If you like the old stuff, we got a lot of old songs that are brand new.
There you go.
And Steve just took all of my answers all in one. Thanks, brother.
That's all right, man.
Well,
No.
that's a guitar player thing, is taking all the limelight, right?
And then you add the vocals to it, and yes.
And yes, so he's double trouble.
Double trouble.
Double trouble, definitely, but extraordinaire, absolutely.
Yep. Now, you guys are based out of Tucson, but in, say, the past year or 2 years, where else would people have seen you?
We just played Texas. Last show we had was in El Paso.
Okay.
Phoenix area a lot.
Yeah.
Haven't made it to California yet. We were gonna go, then COVID hit, so it kind of pushed off the trek to talk about some stuff we had lined up in New Mexico before the COVID.
Yeah, we were set up to do a few branching out mini tours.
Okay.
We were going to do Albuquerque, Gallup, and we were also going to shoot out to LA.
Okay.
Do a little loop out to LA and come back, and then we were putting together a south of the border Mexico tour, which is now opening back up.
Yeah. Well, and that's the great thing about, hopefully, at this point looking forward, is that live music is coming back.
Absolutely.
And we're able to get back into the clubs. We're able to get back and see what we all enjoy is people playing music for other people and making that connection and being able to, you guys know, when you're on the stage and you look out and you see somebody and they're looking right back at you and they're singing the lyrics or they're pumping the fist, and you make that momentary connection with them.
Could be one person out there that makes a difference in the show.
Absolutely. So that's just kind of a brief, who you guys are. So let's start talking gear. All right.
All right.
We're talking to Steve, who plays guitar. So let's start from the beginning. Guitar players play guitars. Popular belief is that they do that. You got 2 gears that you run, or 2 pieces that you run.
Yep.
So tell me about them.
Okay, I use the IBANEZ VBT 700.
Okay.
I use these live, and I use a black one and a white one. The white one is tuned half step down, standard tuning.
Okay.
The black one is the same tuning, but drop D. So half our songs will be drop D, and we like to play a show standard verse, and then people think we're too heavy, we switch over to drop D and get a little heavier, just to mix things up.
Okay.
So they're all both loaded with ENGLE 85s.
Okay. Now, did they come that way, or is that something that you
what
did?
They come with, Zack members, you just look them up.
They came with the Marzios.
Some kind of, so
Okay.
when I got them, I took them out, put them on Craigslist, swapped that, traded right even with the white one anyways.
Sure. Okay.
So first off, all my guitars got the EMGs.
Okay.
So they all sound the same when I'm plugging them in. There's not much different. And with the 2, I recorded the 2 albums with these 2 right here. So everything on the album, standard, drop D.
Electronics are stock in them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And let's talk about strings, because people love to get in fights about strings.
Okay, DiAddario right now. I developed this little wrist problem a couple of months ago, so I'm using 942s instead of the 1045, whatever they were.
Okay.
So I went down a bit, and I thought it might be an issue, but if anybody that likes Black Sabbath, no Tony Iommi gets away with like 8s,
Right.
That's all what you think it is.
Well, you got to take care of yourself.
You're right. And I actually like them. It's easier to bend and stuff, and some great guitars use way thinner, and you say you can't get that thick chunk sound out of the 9s, I beg to differ,
True. So then we go from the guitars, using a wireless.
Yeah, one of the most important things in a live rig is wireless. I'm using the Line 6 relay here, so I think it's a G50. It's like, I broke one, went to record, dropped my guitar a few times because I keep stumbling over the damn the chord. And that's the reason why I like these Ibanez, by the way, over Jackson's. And this was a lawsuit. Jackson model, I think they only made 1 year, and Jackson sued them and they had to stop making them. But unlike the Jackson, these things are built like tanks, If you had a Jackson, the point is like really thin, and if you fart around them, they probably will break off. You got to be really careful. These ones I've dropped and banged into shit, like, so they have not broken. Actually, a couple of chips, you can't see them, but so anyway, aside from that, that's one reason. And the wireless is like, you can run around stage, and even just in here and practice by myself, I recommend wireless.
Okay, and that's the unit that goes just from the transmitter, and then the receiver is actually right next to the pedal board.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And if you look at my receiver, I actually have it backwards.
Okay.
So the antenna is actually facing inwards, so it's upside down. If people looking at it, I'm used to looking upside down, so I know when the batteries are on or off, the green and the reds are good. But it's upside down so that the antenna is not hanging out. I don't want to actually snag it and break the antenna off.
Sure.
So I don't know why they make them that way, but so it goes in there to my tuner.
Okay.
From the tuner, it goes into my overdrive, and I use a MAXON overdrive. I was using a tube screamer, an Ibanez, which I like, but it's like I step on it, and sometimes it doesn't go on or off, and I have to really pound it, and the light's really hard to see from a distance, because you might have it on and not even realize till you're standing above it. This one shines like a Christmas tree. You can see it anywhere on stage if you get this off. And it's easy to hit, and I actually prefer the tone on it, and it doesn't click as much. If I've been clicking in between songs or hit the overdrive, I don't notice it on here.
And so do you use that just for your
only
lead
for solos?
sections?
Yeah, only for solos. Yeah.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, that old tube screamer, is that like one of the vintage series tube screamers?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I had 2 of them at one point, but my grandson's dad brought it by one day. Somebody left it in his truck. He's like, "Hey, I got this thing in my truck. You want it?" He gave it to me, and it had like a little short in it. Fixed it, and it was great for a while. Then I started using the MAXON, and I've used this MAXON at every single show. I've never used the tube screamer, so I've only been using that tube screamer for a while because this MAXON came a little loose. Switched it out, put it back on recently.
Okay.
So then from my looper, I got it coming back. It comes right back to my digital delay.
Yep.
I use a Boss DD3 right now, And I leave that on the whole show, on everything.
Okay.
And I don't have it set for high delay, but like mids, just kind of adds a little bit of thickness to it.
Sure.
So almost like we're one guitar player, just a hair. You know, a lot of guys who use chorus for that reason, but I like to use the delay because it's just not as tinny sound to me.
Okay.
And then for cleans, I'll switch over my clean channel on the pedal board, and the pedal board, and then I got the chorus ensemble from Boss.
Okay.
And I throw that on the cleans, it gives it a nice glassy
Sure,
tone.
Okay.
So then on my pedal board right now, I have a Boss looper station, which live, sometimes I use it if the sound guy can't play this instrumental you put on, like the intro.
Okay.
If they can't like run it off the board, I'll play it on my looper station.
Okay,
And that's
okay.
the only time I use that live. And for practice, I use that looper to go over the leads. So all those songs we play, I have in the looper station, like starting from 1 to 20 or whatever standard, from 99 backwards, I have all the drop D stuff. So when I'm going through my
Oh,
note,
got it. Yeah,
I can
yeah.
go left or right, depends on watching. And I'll just work my way through all those before
Sure.
show, whatever songs we're gonna play.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
And
And then from there, we go.
from here it goes into my ENGLE. It's
Okay.
ENGLE Powerball 1, the first edition.
Okay.
You don't recognize it because I got the Never Reborn thing here, and it's
Yes.
got this steel grate here that breathes air. And in the back, I had to make a little grate in the back so it gets air, otherwise it'll overheat. So
Gotcha.
I got this makeshift one back there, and
Okay.
we got lights to make it cool. But the ENGLE is loaded with these, and that's a Tube Doctor amp tubes here, which I had these in there, and then I had some replace the tubes, and I got some JJs in there. And I like when I first got them, I thought, man, these are not the right tubes.
Right.
I think these are like not even 6L6s. I had to like take it apart and look in there and go, well, hell, they're exactly the same thing. I mean,
Sure.
down to the T, except for they don't sound like these. So
Well, and we had talked about that earlier, how even though it can be a direct replacement, it
completely
just might
different
not sound right.
My cleans just sounded dirty and not real crystal. So
Sure.
recently I blew a tube, put a replacement tube of my old tubes back in there, and then this thing has like an onboard system that like monitors all your tubes, and it started flashing, said this tube was out, replaced it, put it in, blew a fuse right away.
Okay.
So I tried to replace the fuse. I couldn't figure it out. So I ordered these online. I paid like 50 or 60 bucks extra for these just to have them at a place in Phoenix, and brought them to the amp guy. And turns out after a lot of work, my standby switch was kind of jacked. But
okay.
you know, played our first practice today with the new tubes, and everybody I think agrees that the crystal clean sound, the glass sound you get off the clean sounds exactly like our album. If you listen to the,
It was very clean
it's
and very nice.
beautiful. And if you're playing live with a band, you might notice it some. But if you're playing by yourself in the room, practicing the hours and hours and 1,000 hours you got to do to make one song good, it's extremely gentle on the ears to have these tubes. I'm not a spokesman for them, but
Right.
these are, you know, TD Tube Doctor amps, and these are the red bass ones I got. They're beautiful. I love them. I'll never try anything else again.
So a satisfied customer.
Satisfied. And yeah, this goes into my, okay, so this is a 3-channel, I think. I use 2 channels, clean and dirty, and I have this one little part on this song called Death March Armageddon. I use this crunch part, and it like lowers the volumes. Then we go back to heavy. So a 2-channel would be fine with me, but the ENGLE is just like, try it out. Every amp I can think of, and I've never been more satisfied than I have with this ENGLE.
Cool.
And it shows people are like always kind of saying, dude, the tone of your rig is like, and half the tone is your hands, you know. So,
Sure.
you know, I feel fortunate that when people say they like the rig, you know, bug me at the show and they still like it, you're like happy.
Well, we love talking gear.
Yes. And then you probably want to ask about the
Yeah, tell us
cab-
about the cabinet.
So the cabinet, this is a Marshall 1960 lead. And I think they come with GT75s in it, but this one I swapped out the vintage 30s out of my MESA, the big extended cabin, which I was using that MESA. It was nice, sounded beautiful, nothing wrong with it. They're loud, but they're bigger and heavier when you're loading all this crap all the time and moving around. It's like, and the Marshall, that's like as pretty as you can get a Marshall.
Sure.
So I swapped out the speakers, put the vintage 30s in here, put them back in the GT75s and the MESA, and I actually traded that for a MESA bass rig you're going to see in a minute. So I traded that straight across, so that's my rig right there. You know, it's very simple.
Well,
Oh, and like really important too.
I
is
was
your
going to
picks.
ask you about your plectrums
Picks.
Because I like to think I'm a smart person because I know that word. So what are you using?
I use these, and I got these special picks. I've been using the Jazz 3s for years, and I got used to playing the smaller pick.
Yep.
And once I started liking those, I couldn't replace them. So I use these Jazz 3s and Jim Dunlap. They wear out pretty fast, but they're nice, and most picks do. So I ordered these bigger picks. They're a little bit thicker gauge, and we're going to record an album with it. And I was using them for about a week. I couldn't hold on to them anymore. I was like, been playing the smaller ones for so long. So these are like my total 100% throwout picks.
Yeah.
So I ordered these other ones that are smaller, like the Jazz 3 from InTune, I think.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, it doesn't fade. They work perfect. And I recorded an album with these, and sorry, what the hell?
Yeah.
During the album, I used the same pick for one song, right?
Okay.
So I made this little thing. We switched from one song to the next. I saved these picks here, and each one of them has a name on it of a song. And after I record the album, I'll give that one pick to somebody in my family with the lyric sheet that I used to record the album and say, you know, this is Existence Denied. Here's your lyric sheet and your pick to go with it.
Yeah.
And an album cover. So
that's cool.
There's 10 songs, and 10 people will get one. Last one was 5 songs, and I didn't get a pick, of course. I gave them away.
Wow.
But yeah.
Yeah. So do you find the printing on those? Does that help you hold on to them?
No, actually, they make them kind of smooth because so the print stays on. So the Jazz 3s are a little bit more, you know, contour. They have a little more grooves in them. They're kind of easier to hold.
Got it.
So these ones are a little bit flat. But the thing about these is when your hands sweat, they're really easy to hold on to. Sure. So if they're like feeling you flip, you just lick your finger and it's like ain't going nowhere. The other ones are different. If my hands get wet, they start getting slippery and I start to falling.
Yeah.
So I can actually pick these and throw them out and grab another one, and it's like right on target, you know, and pick slides is like really great. And I used this other one, Pick Guy. Okay. I think off the first album, and these ones, the paint came off after like 4 practices. Okay. Like all this stuff was worn thin. This one I have not worn the logo off. It'll wear out before the logo comes off. It doesn't come off.
But it's funny how as artists, and it doesn't matter what instrument it is, right? You're always striving to be better. You're always striving, maybe not attaining perfection, but you're at least reaching for it. Right. And sometimes it can be as simple as changing the size of the pick, or changing the thickness of the pick, or the material that the pick is made out of.
I use the thick picks, so it's like 1.2 or something like that. They're heavy. Yeah. And one thing we didn't talk about was like my important mic stand here. So live, we were going to play a Halloween show outside last year. Right. And a couple, maybe 4 or 5 days before the show, we were told that they have no lights outside. Nothing, so you bring your own lights. So we were like, oh, what are we gonna do? So I went on Amazon and found these LEDs, and we put them on the amps and the mic stands so we could see ourselves, what we were doing on stage. So we just kind of incorporated that into our gear. Yeah, you know, so we play that at shows, and it looks nice, lights you up, and we got drink holders on the bottom, so you can put water on one side and beer on the other. You're not looking for your beer. You're not knocking it over during a show. You can just reach down, grab it. You know right where it is.
Looking for a beer.
Like, where's my beer? My beer's with me. You run out. You yell for a beer replacement. Right back in its spot.
You know, the visual aspect sometimes people don't understand of a show. And
we take that serious.
You know, you go with you find a theme. You go with a theme. People look for that theme. And there are people who will instantly latch on because I like the way they look, and oh wait a minute, the music's awesome. So it's kind of like a double win. So anyway, that's the rig.
That's the rig
with Steve.
It's simple, but it works. And I'm not tone hunting. I'm not searching for another amp. You know, I searched for years, tried all the different Marshalls, all the different, you know, 6505, 51, everything. Yeah. And the ENGLE to me is just hands down the best thing I've ever had. Yeah, I love it.
Sweet. All right, let's. Anything else you want to say? There's a show. You know, here's the bad part. We're recording this now. There's going to be a cool show that if people knew about it, they would go see it. But I'm not. I'm in Arizona. I'm not going to be in Ohio for another week
we're
or
playing
so.
with Soulfly
With
on
Soulfly,
Tuesday.
that would be
So-
cool. You know what we'll try to do is we'll try to put something out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Send us a flyer or something,
Okay.
and we'll put it out on our YouTube, on our
You
Facebook
bet.
page. And you know, if there's, I know we've got some Arizona people that watch the channel, and we'll see if we can't
Yeah.
get them out there too.
I've been a Max Cavalera fan since the beginning of Sepultura, so to me this is like
Yeah.
playing with a living legend like Max is just like unbelievable.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a cool deal. So
Yeah.
all right.
Thank you.
Let's talk other gear. All right, so let's talk percussion
Let's talk.
with Trek, and give us the high level overview of
The high level overview would have to come from here, and it'd have to look down. But maybe we can capture that.
which we will do.
Maybe we can capture that. But let's start ground level.
Okay.
I'm playing circa 1983 TAMA Superstar
Nice.
in super mahogany finish. This is pretty much what Lars was playing back in the day. And it's a beautiful sounding birch shell kit.
Okay.
It has tons of attack, and it is the best live kit I have ever played.
Okay.
I mean, you can mic it up with crap mics, and these things are cannons.
Yeah.
Because they're the extra series.
Okay,
So the extra
okay,
series were
yeah.
the deeper series toms. They had standard size.
Right.
And I went with the extra series.
Okay.
Just for that fact. I love the finish. It's a little beat up. It's road worn, but hey, I bought it brand new at Drum World in San Francisco.
Wow.
Yeah. So over the years, it's grown. I started out with a 5-piece.
Okay.
I added the extra toms and the extra kick.
Okay.
And now it's 5 toms.
Now you were able to find the
I
identical.
ordered it from TAMA.
From TAMA, okay.
They
Okay.
made it for me basically.
Okay. Did it come with the rack on it,
Of course not. No, that's always extra. None of this stuff comes free.
Right.
I got away from stands because stands were something that you have to break down and set up every time. And
Sure.
it got to a point where it took me more time to set my kit up and break it down than it took me to play a show. And I just decided, hey, let's make this easy. I'm going to get rid of all my cases. I'm going to buy a van, and that's going to be my drum case.
Got it.
So now both my drum kits stay set up. This one will break down into 2 pieces, and I went to the the rack, which is a TAMA Power Tower system.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm true to the TAMA.
Brand loyal.
Yes.
Yep.
Always. And invested a bunch of time and a bunch of money into putting this together. Cut the tubes, some of them custom.
Okay.
You can only order them in certain sizes, but bought a lot of the J5s, the J8s, the J12s, and the clamps, and actually designed this to where I can suspend my bass drums.
Oh,
so if I'm on a
nice.
riser, I can actually pull the spurs up on the bottom here,
Sure.
and it'll actually hang out over the drum riser,
you're
and they'll
super-
just be suspended out there.
So if you're super tight on space.
Yeah,
can
or
make
you
it
just
all-
want it to look freaking cool.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it, right?
Yeah, because like the show that's coming up, there's multiple bands, and it's not, you don't have 30 minutes in between bands to set up. It's boom, boom, boom.
No, it's generally about 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
we pride ourselves in how quick we can get on and off stage because we don't want to cut into the next band's
Absolutely.
time, right? That's just
Right.
respect.
Right.
And it's professionalism, and hey, we're pros here.
Right.
I don't want to cut into Trek's time, but whenever we set up, he is so fast at putting this drum set together. If you're putting together your bass or your guitar bay and not hauling ass, he will beat you. So, the people, the running the soundboards always say, man, your drummer should put on a clinic on how to put his drums up so fast. In fact, you guys are so fast,
Right.
and it's your time, And,
Sure.
And we've
Yeah.
been told at shows like, dude, your drums, the legs aren't hitting the ground, they're gonna fall. And he's like, yeah, that's.
It's okay. I got it.
Yeah, I've never seen a drummer in my life set up as fast as Trek.
Yeah.
And he's like, Everything's in place. Show them what your little
Yeah, because
Shadowboard
it's important for, and as you said, the word you used was professional, because you guys have got 30 minutes of time. These guys have got 30 minutes of time. The guys coming after you've got 30 minutes of time, and that's, I mean, let's be honest, that's one of the ways you get invited back. Is
Absolutely.
by, if you've got 12 to 15 minutes to set up, and you take 12 minutes to set up, and you've got 30 minutes to play, and you play your 30 minutes, or a skosh less, or a skosh more, and they're kind of like, it's okay, then they know they can depend on you. They know that you are good for the flow of the gig. If you show up late and you are being a princess about sound setup, and you run over because I'm a very important artist and I need to express my feelings to the world, there's a good chance you're not coming back. And you guys have figured that out really quick. And this is a part of that.
Yeah, it's just ease of setup. So basically it breaks down into 2 large pieces.
Right.
The gong is on its separate rack, which just slides down on top.
Okay.
And then the kind of my multi rack back here with the wind chimes and the reverse china, and hanging one of my cymbals, which it hangs.
Okay.
The stand's not coming from the bottom; it comes from the top, right? So it gives you that cool visual look.
Yeah.
That's basically all I've got.
Okay.
The snare drum is also mounted to the rack, so I
was
don't have
gonna
a separate
ask,
snare stand.
Is it a TAMA snare?
It is,
Okay.
and that was the one thing I didn't get with the kit. They gave me a Swing Star metal kit, metal snare drum that was just cheap, right?
Yeah.
I finally found a 40th anniversary edition Superstar in Super Mahogany, and got that a couple years ago. So now I have the
nice.
complete
Correct me
kit.
if I'm wrong, the drummer from Enforcer has the same snare?
I think the drummer from Enforcer has basically the same kit.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
talked about that before the Warbringer show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was, they guys were like, as soon as he saw Chuck's drum set, he's like, they were like, they knew all their weird little lingo. We were all like, okay.
What about heads?
Oh, so heads, REMO all day, all night. Pinstripes on all the toms.
Yep.
So you got the 2-layer heads, a lot of attack, but they're durable. They last.
Right.
My go-to on the snare is a Power Stroke 3 with a CS dot on it.
Okay.
And for the kick drums, it's Power Stroke 3s, and I put the REMO Falam Slam kick pads on there.
Okay.
The pedals I'm using are DW 5000 remote hi-hats, so they're cable hats.
Okay,
And then I'm
okay.
using the TAMA Iron Cobra.
Okay. Happy with all of that?
The Iron Cobra pedals are the smoothest pedals I've ever played.
Okay.
But for space requirements, I needed cable hats, and I got 2 for my hi-hats. But one thing I can't pass up is the rim system. So
Right.
all the toms are mounted on rims, which lets them resonate.
Right, because you're not clamping into that, and you're not strangling it.
Absolutely,
For
absolutely.
lack
So
of a
you want
better
all the tone. Give me the resonance, give me the sustain, and if we go up top, it's Peisty. Peisty,
Yep.
cymbals, sounds, gongs.
Gongs. Yep.
One of the things that I do that's a little bit different is I'm a huge fan of mismatching hi-hats.
Okay.
Because everybody plays and they'll break a hi-hat, and it's the top hat that always breaks.
Okay.
The bottom hats are always heavier.
Okay.
So I just,
So do you?
out of necessity, took a bottom hi-hat, which is heavier, and I threw it on top, and I love the sound. Recorded our last album that way,
Okay.
and it is a unique sound. It also is a heavier hi-hat, so when you're playing the heavier music and you're kind of laying into it, the cymbal has just a little more give.
Okay.
So it doesn't rock and flap
sure.
back and
Flap
forth,
around.
and it just gives you a lot more sustain, and it gives you a lot more cut if you're not mic'd up.
Got it. And you've got a double set up?
Yes,
for your
yes. So
hi-hats?
I got 15-inch hi-hats over here.
Okay.
With sound edge bottom hats.
Okay.
And then I've got on the right side 14-inch hats. And I got a sound edge on the bottom. And that's a bottom hi-hat cymbal, a 2000 series.
Okay.
And for this kit, I primarily play Paiste 2002s
Okay.
and Signature series.
Okay.
I do have a couple 2000s, like that bottom hi-hat's a 2000 series, and this is a Sound Reflection 2000 series as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's the top end.
And kind of like Steve, we're not paid endorsees. We're
No.
just damn happy customers.
No, I am a true believer and endorser of their stuff, because Paiste cymbals, I know what this 2002 19-inch crash is going to sound like.
Yeah, right.
When I break it, if I break it, I can go back and buy another 19-inch Paiste cymbal and it's going to sound the same.
You're not worried about
If I had a Zildjian, and nothing wrong with Zildjian,
right.
they're unique.
It's a different flavor.
It's a different flavor. It has just a little different sound quality to it.
Okay.
So for that reason, I love my Paiste.
Okay.
A couple other toys.
Yeah.
Because I like my toys. I like
Right.
a lot of percussive things.
Okay.
So I got a flying saucer down there.
Okay.
It's a noisemaker.
Right.
And don't use it. Hardly at all. But when you come over on this side and you get back behind the kit, this is like the cockpit. And I've got a Rhythm Tech ribbon crasher over here,
Okay.
which I do use. I've got a flanger bell from Paiste, which is pretty awesome.
Camera position change just because, well, you want to show the people what they want.
Yeah, I'm going to welcome you into my cockpit, as I call it. So when you're behind the kit, there's some little things that you may not see out front, but they're definitely things that make it a little bit unique.
Right.
One of the things that I use and that you'll hear on the new album is this Rhythm Tech ribbon crasher.
Okay.
It's just a percussive device, and it's freaking amazing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. I love that kind
Get
of
your
stuff.
attention.
Right. You'll also hear a TAMA Octaban.
Yep.
Okay. This is just one of those high notes, and I've got something kind of interesting here that I just picked up, and I like picking up percussive things.
Sure. Oh, nice.
This is actually a fire bell.
I was going to say, is it like a school bell or a fire bell?
Right, yeah. So I don't even remember where I got it, but
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the right song to put that in, and
Right.
we'll get it there. But as you can see back here, I got 5 toms,
Yep.
and there's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So they're all really closely spaced size-wise, which gives
Right.
you just a very little bit of room for variance.
Right, right.
So tuning is important.
And it's interesting that you have a tom over on your left-hand side, which is,
Yes.
to many people, not a typical setup.
Right. So when I envisioned this kit, it was I want to be an ambidextrous player.
Well, that's a big
at some point.
That's a big word.
Yeah. So I want to be able to go left or go right.
Yeah.
Swipe left, swipe right. Yeah, whatever. But so I've got mirrored pedals down here. So I got 2 iron cobras and I got 2 cable hats. So I could actually play this
you
way.
Could play in an open position.
I
if
could
you
play an
wanted to
open
either
position
way.
on both sides, and I wanted that tom over there for that reason.
Right. Okay.
This is kind of cool. Just some junk I found when I was playing in the yard at my first house, digging things up. It's just a piece of brass and something else I dug up that I hung, and it makes a really nice
Just
little
a nice,
sound.
crisp, clean bell.
Yeah. So it's a bell sound, and these wind chimes I actually built myself.
Okay.
I bought the wood. I had it cut for me because I didn't have the saw and everything. But then I found some brass at a recycling place, and I cut these just randomly
Oh, nice.
and strung them up with some high tensile fishing line.
Sure.
And
On both albums.
you'll hear that on both the full-length album and the EP.
And it's cool because it's not, I mean, all of this stuff is great, but I made that.
Right.
Absolutely.
I found this,
This is
I
unique.
found this,
This is me.
Right.
This is my sound. This is part of the musical expression that I get to put out there for the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
Yeah.
don't want to use the word penis envy, but I think we're talking show me your junk. It does come up at shows about envious of our gear and tricks.
Well, gear envies is something that people
it's
do
a
have.
very real thing.
Yeah, so
Alright.
so for most shows, I'll play my small kit.
Okay.
It's the big kit here,
Right.
the cockpit,
Yeah.
the flying fortress.
Yeah.
This guy comes to the big shows where we have a big stage.
Sure.
A lot of the other places, I play a Pacific by DW
Okay.
X7 kit.
Okay.
Much shorter toms, much more defined sound. That's my recording kit.
Okay.
I use CS black dots
Okay.
on the top heads there. And various snare drums. If I had my snare drums here, we can do a whole nother
We could do a whole
we can do a
series
whole
on
nother
snare
segment on
drums.
just snare drums.
Yes.
But yeah, so this is my baby. This is what we've been together for many years.
Yeah.
And,
It's getting the job done.
And this is the live kit. So this is the touring kit.
Right.
When we get to that point, this is the one you're going to see on stage, and
it'll be really quick to set up.
yes, it will.
All right.
Something extremely important. We mentioned all the junk or the gear, the stuff that makes the sound, but how do you get the sound from here to here?
We forgot to talk about your stick.
I would not be a drumologist if I did not tell you the type of sticks that I play.
Tell us about the type of sticks that you
So
play.
the type of sticks I'm playing right now, and I have been for the past 5 years,
Okay.
are these Vader sticks.
Okay.
Okay, they're the Vader Nude Power 5B.
Okay.
Okay, and nude is not rude,
Right.
but it is actually an unvarnished stick.
I was going to say, so there's no finish on them.
There's no finish, so they're not slippery. It's like when you're sweating on stage under the lights.
Right.
These things, for the most part, stay in your hands.
Okay.
Although when I flail, stay out of the way.
Right. Well,
I've
it's-
got plenty of them here, and I can grab them pretty darn quick.
It's not about the mistakes. It's about the recovery.
That's absolutely right. But
And nylon tips.
it's a
or wooden
nylon
tips?
tip.
Okay.
This is the first brand of stick that I've found that the nylon tips don't come popping off.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I never played them until I found Vader.
Okay.
The Vader tips stick, and they last. So, yeah, Vader Nude Power 5Bs.
Power 5 Bravos.
That's right.
All right. There
So
we
let's
go.
do it.
Dude, how fitting for show me your junk. Yeah, right?
Hey, we've been recording the whole time. Woo!
All right. Let's go.
With what?
With you.
With me?
This one will be painful because in the interest of full disclosure, this is my offspring. If you want to know the product of my loins, this is one example. Just letting you know.
Sorry, I'm just fighting so hard not to sack tap you right now.
Probably
Just don't talk about how much older his singer is and how many days.
Like a week?
So anyways, we're here with Zack, and we're on the low end of the stage. So let's start. What do you start making noise with?
Well, fingers, because I don't use a pick. I finger pick because somebody told me. Well, we won't actually go into that because this is kind of a PG rated video. Anyway, we'll go with the basses.
Okay.
Ever since playing with Never Reborn, I have pretty much exclusively used Jackson bass guitars,
Okay.
which I love Jacksons. I've been playing on them for 8 years. What I've got with me today are the JS3QV Spectra basses that just came out.
Okay.
That, don't look exactly like IBANEZ. They do. I like them. They've got good attack, but I have 3 pairs of matched Jackson guitars.
Okay.
It's the same with Steve's guitars. It's 2 for 2. Very similar pickup configurations. So these have a nice little soap bar configuration that can be toggled for passive and active. You can switch them for a coil tap.
Okay.
Very nice. My amazing, beautiful, smart girlfriend actually got me onto the Spectras because she bought the Alien Burst, and I ended up
recording our future album on this guitar.
All need girlfriends like that. Well, not me because I'm married, but anyways, continue.
And I liked it so much, we recorded the album on it, and I said, you know what, I have to have a match set for shows. So the Purple Phase came into my life.
Okay.
The not pictured basses that I use are a 30th anniversary Rust in Peace guitar, a similar David Ellefson concert bass, and then a humbucker David Ellefson concert bass with the corresponding 5-string Jackson Kelly Bird. I sound like a fanboy, and I absolutely am. Continue.
Stock pickups?
So these are stock pickups.
Okay.
The other 2 sets do have EMGs in them.
Okay.
I am tinkering with the idea of swapping them out, but the electronics are stock.
Okay.
Just because if it sounds good, don't mess with it. You know,
true.
don't fix what ain't broke.
Right. And these are bolt-on necks, right?
These 2. Actually, all of the Jacksons I play are bolt-on necks,
Okay.
with the exception of the Rust in Peace Anniversary. That is a set neck, but
Set neck,
all
okay.
all of the basses I play are 5-string basses.
Okay. And since you mentioned 5 strings, what kind of strings are we playing?
So these are relatively new, so I'm running the strings out.
Okay.
But I do typically use Rotosound 45 to 130s.
Okay.
I like a little bit beefier gauge just because we do run a half step down with our drop tunings.
Right.
So that keeps some tension up, and I personally like beefier bass strings.
Okay. And then, and I've noticed that there is, your action is like super low.
Super low, it's a little bit of ease of access, but at the same time, with how low the action is, I do keep it up enough so I don't get fret buzz, because good Lord knows we don't like that.
Sure.
That contributes to the attack, and that actually goes toward my sound.
Got it. Okay. And then how do we get the signal from here to what we're going to look at in a minute?
So the signal, I do also run wireless. I previously used to have a Line 6 system, but it was running on the same frequency as Steve's, so I switched it up with DiAddario.
Okay.
I think I got them on Amazon. They were relatively inexpensive.
Okay.
But at the same time, the frequency that they use is a little less commonly used.
Got it. Okay.
So
you have less chance of getting interference.
Less chance of interference.
All the different gigs that the different places you're playing. So you never know what you're going to get sometimes.
No, and you could have some chucklehead out in the parking lot going, oh, wait a minute, that's messing with him. And he could interrupt your signal, and which again has never happened, but you never know.
Okay. And then, so that's got a transmitter. It's a little small, we'll show a picture of it. It's got a little small transmitter that just plugs into the output jack. And then you are going into, talk to us the signal flow on your board.
Okay, so, and the transmitter and receiver pods are same size. They're literally just different colors.
Right.
So what'll happen is the input will go straight into my wah pedal, which is an Electro-Harmonix switchless crying bass pedal.
Okay.
I do have a little bit of an issue because it free floats a little bit, but my previous wah pedal, it was a Morley Cliff Burton wah fuzz pedal.
Okay.
Nothing against that. I got a bad pot on it, so every time I hit that wah switch, it just pops.
Just popped like crazy. Yeah.
Super audible.
Okay.
I think it's just a bad pot, nothing against it.
Okay.
So it goes from the wah pedal to my tuner,
Yep.
and then I recently acquired a La Bass 2-channel tube preamp.
Wee.
No, poo-poo. And I'm just over the moon about this. We got it dialed in, over practice, and one thing that I've been wanting to get in my tone is, my tone's been awesome, but the warmth of the low end has been lost a bit.
Okay.
So I thought, hey, you know what, a tube preamp? Maybe that'll work.
Okay.
And once we got it dialed in, magnifique.
And this is an interesting kind of a preamp because it looks like it's just a normal 2-channel preamp because you got an A and a B section, but from just the brief, because I'll be honest with you, I've not heard of these before, and so I was trying to do a little bit of reading up while your cat was attacking me, and you can run a fusion mode, which you can do either in series or you could do them parallel.
Correct.
So honestly, you've got like 4 different settings.
Yes, I mean, at any one time, you have access to 3 different channel settings. So you've got channel A, you've got channel B, and then you can toggle them both. And depending on where a separate button is, you can have them cold fused, which is running them in series.
All right.
Or no, running them cold is in parallel.
Okay.
And then hot is in series.
Okay.
Again, if I'm wrong, the bass people, I'm sorry. I've had this for 2 days. Don't kill
We will
me.
put a correction somewhere in this area.
Yeah, we'll have an asterisk.
don't know about that, but anyways.
Anyway, I really like it. The A channel gives you a lot more low, warm of the tube sound, which is good. But I personally, right now, I'm using the B channel just because it gives me more attack. It gives me more high end. And then my actual amp head, which we'll show you in a minute, that's where I dial in my low end, and that's where the magic kind of comes
And
together.
a bunch of that was done on the fly today, because as you had said, this is the first practice that you were doing to it. So there was a lot of input from Steve and Trek going back and forth saying,
Yes.
that sounds good, but you lost something here, or it wasn't this way before.
Yes,
and
and
it was a lot of tuning and tweaking.
The prevailing opinion was it sounds really good, but it's blending into the background.
Right.
And that was what we didn't want to happen.
Right. Especially as a 3-piece unit.
Exactly.
You need each piece to stand out, I think, a little bit more. And that's something that sitting through practice today that I kind of enjoyed was there are some 3-piece units where when the guitar guy goes solo, the sound gets kind of thinner. And I didn't really find that to be the case, because there's a wall of sound over here that, again, was getting just tweaked more and more as practice went on. So, so that's interesting. And I don't know how long those have been out.
I couldn't tell you. I found an advert for them on Sweetwater. And
shameless product placement.
But
we
I do
receive no compensation for.
They send me candy.
I buy stuff from Sweetwater. They never send me candy.
They don't like you. So, I mean, I saw a blurb for this a week ago, and I thought it'd be pretty cool, and I was proven correct. Now, this runs into my overdrive pedal, which, again, like I said, I am a shameless David Ellefson fanboy.
Okay.
So this is the David Ellefson Fallout overdrive pedal from KHDK Electronics, I believe.
Boy, that'd be great if that was one of the signed ones.
Oh, it is.
Anyways.
Limited run, 12 out of 40. I have the nice little case for it. And it's an awesome pedal. I love it. We put this in the same practice, or the very practice I brought it in, and actually switched it on between songs. Steve looked at me and went, what did you do?
Yeah. Okay.
Do that from now on.
Do that more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, more gooder.
So I also had to add a chorus pedal, because my previous preamp that I was using was a Tech 21 fly rig bass rig.
Right.
Fly rig bass preamp. Sorry. Which is awesome. I love it.
Right. So that's the version 1.
That's the version 1.
If you want to see a review of the version 2, there'll be a link somewhere around here, because I got mine like 3 weeks ago. Anyways, continue.
Anyways, so taking that off, I had to make room for a tuner pedal, because I personally think it's really unprofessional to tune by ear and have your bass tuned up at a show.
Okay.
I just, I don't like it.
Okay.
But I also had to add a chorus pedal for a few of our songs. So I got a nice Electro Harmonix bass clone, which I love Electro Harmonix pedals.
Okay.
So much. Nice little Behringer 7-band EQ pedal.
Okay.
$25.
You know, it's something, you get what I call cork sniffers sometimes. Sometimes you'll mention a brand name and people go, oh, you have one of those.
Yeah. I was like, if it works, it works. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. If it doesn't work, I lost $25. I'll eat it.
You know, tools are the same way. Guns are the same way. If I hit you in the head, who cares what brand name it was?
Exactly.
Just saying.
Yeah. And
horrible disclaimer I should probably put across the bottom for that. But anyways.
Asterisk. And then into my compressor and my noise gate / silencer, both Electro Harmonix
I was going to say they're both EH units. Okay.
And love those.
And then I think the only thing, because we were I was watching you trying to reconfigure this a little bit yesterday. Because who's your power supplier?
So the power supply I got is a MXR DC brick.
Right. Okay. And the only thing that we were finding that we had an issue with was the LaBass wants 12 volts,
Yes,
but
so-
it wants it at half an amp.
Yes. So the little bass. I mean, I kind of would expect that from a nice tube preamp.
Well, just because you need the juice.
You need the juice, and yeah, no, it's a 12 volt, 500 milliamp power supply.
Right, and there's a lot of DC power supplies out there that will supply 12 volts or sometimes 18 volts, but you have to
But not at
look,
half an amp.
because there will be a little notation and it'll say, oh, when you go to 12 amps, now we're only at 400 milliamps, and then now that we're at 18 volts, now we can only do like 350. So and there's nothing wrong with those units. You just got to pay attention because
Yes.
sometimes if you've got something like this and it wants half an amp and you're not feeding it half an amp, it's not going to do what you want it to do, and you might be wasting your money on something because it doesn't sound the way you think it should. Well, you're not giving it the juice that it needs. So
Well, and the last thing you want to do is buying a nice shiny new pedal, and you spend good money on it, and you just don't look at the voltage, and you run it into a power brick, and you fry it.
fry it, yeah.
And then you try and go, oh, well, this fried. And the manufacturer goes, well, because you're a big dum-dum. You didn't look at the voltage. We're not paying you back.
Right. And, I don't know about you guys. I work hard for my American pesos, and I
work hard for
like
mine.
to use them widely. So we come out of your noise gate
Correct?
and go through a cable into...
So this is my nice, shiny, dark glass Micro Tubes 500.
Okay.
I actually played the 900 watt version of this at a friend of mine's house. I thought it was really nice. He ran it into an Ampeg. The sound was really clean.
Okay.
I like this because it was not $1,100 or $1,300, which is great. But no, you've got your nice little 4-band EQ. You can toggle the mids,
Okay.
which I do frequently. Gain control, but then down here is kind of where the magic happens.
Okay.
Because you can run your vintage micro tubes and it has a tube emulation to it.
Okay.
I run the B3K because I want that nasty distortion to it. And when that gets coupled with my overdrive, and where I finally got the bass set at,
Right.
also with the action on my basses, I just get that. If anybody's seen us play, you already know. It's just a real nasty attack.
And when I think of any of my children and I think nasty, you're the one that comes to mind.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But no, it's nice. It's a 500 watt at 4 ohms.
Okay. Well, and the really nice thing is it's not 68 pounds.
No, it's
Because if you've ever had to move like an SVT head or one of the just the full sized like my GK rig,
Yeah.
it's how much does it weigh? About a hernia and a half.
Yeah, it's like, how much does it weigh? It weighs more than this.
Yeah.
This is a fairly light solid state amp.
Right.
Nothing wrong with solid state amps. I'm just saying.
We all have our preferences.
Yeah. And when I'm at home or we have our more compact pack out for some of these shows, it's very similar to how Trek runs his drums. If we're at a smaller venue, then he will bring a smaller drum set and I will bring my personal cabinet,
Right.
which is a little 600 watt, I say little, it's not that little, 600 watt 2x10 Eden cab with a nice little tweeter in it.
Right. Right.
Now, when we have a show like Soulfly, which, oh my God, yes,
Yes.
it's time to bring out the big guns.
Bring out the big guns.
Big drum set, big bass cab.
Okay. Obviously, it's a MESA.
Obviously, it's a MESA 4x10,000 watt cabinet,
Okay.
which, even though my middle head is 500 watts, it will absolutely knock all the hair off a cat that walks in front of it.
Yep.
It's got the juice.
And because we talked a little bit earlier about specs, we're at least fairly confident that it's just the stock speakers in it.
Stock doesn't mean bad.
Right. Well, because Steve's not put anything in it, and we don't know. When you buy used gear, you never really know the pedigree from it. But like I said, we're fairly confident that it's just stock. It sounded great. You know, of course, I'm 8 feet away from it, so of course it's going to sound great.
Well, yeah, with ear protection in.
Well, I'm an old man. I don't have much left. So
Yeah.
that's the rig on the bass side of things.
Yeah, that's the rig, and
So there you have it. I'm James. This has been Rattlecan Guitar Restorations. I want to thank Tucson-based dark metal power trio Never Reborn for being so gracious to me with their time and their equipment and their knowledge, and for being the first guests on the very first episode of
Show me your junk!
Hey, if you like this episode of Rattlecan Guitar Restorations, you might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers.